heard you guys talking about Hadron, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on how to think about this. Because me personally, I love the idea of Hadron. I like Alex a lot. I think he's a super smart guy. But personally, in terms of buying Hadron, in terms of buying Icosa, I've been rather dubious about buying it because, in my mind, if you're buying Hadron, you're essentially saying, I believe that this Hadron will outperform buying Hex, staking Hex, getting the double on PulseChain, plus the future Hadron that I'll be able to mint from simply buying Hex. So that's why on my channel I've been kind of rather dubious about the prospect of buying Hadron simply because I think there's a solid case to be made that if you were just to buy Hex and stake it, that the Hex price appreciation, the staking rewards, plus the Hadron is very likely to outperform simply buying Hadron or buying Arcosa. So I'm wondering if people disagree with me, agree with me. How do you guys think about that dilemma?
I don't think it's a dilemma. I mean, the truth is, Hadron does have utility now, especially with the HSI market. And not only that, now you can stake Hedron to even get your rewards in Icosa. And not only that, it's deflationary. So, I mean, Hedron. I remember when Hedron first, when it went all the way down to its lower lows. I was like, hey, y'all need to scoop this down Hedron up and hold it, man. Get like 10 billion Hedron right now, and that would have been like 2 grand at the time. And dude, whoever did it, they sitting very pretty now. So the thing is about Hedron, I wouldn't say bad buying it is bad because it seems like to me like some of these assets that got airdropped to us, like okay, like a post Doge, the shit that got airdropped to us. Well, good thing I did buy some because I was able to use that as leverage to get more Hedron.
And
You
then if
get
you
what
look
I'm
at this,
saying?
if you look at the ceiling relative to the hex price, like if hex goes to $1, I think the ceiling for Hedron is like 0.0017. So like, why wouldn't you buy it? That's how I feel about it. I mean, I
Yeah,
think I have a billion Hedron staked right now. So if you look at the
yeah.
ceiling prices compared to hex, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. If you're convicted in hex, you should definitely be buying Hedron, in my opinion.
Yeah, to get yourself even in a better position. Also, yeah, you go get your hex stakes, and your hex stakes gonna have Hedron on it. And like say for instance, you stake at Cosa, yeah, you're gonna get Hedron out of that too. All depends on the
Yep.
amounts that you have. But really, to get you in a better position, man, I mean, shit, Hedron's the way to go. Also, it really is.
So just to clarify here, because my whole thing is since you can get Hadron, since you can get Icosa for free for staking Hex anyways, I just want to be clear here. You guys believe that buying Hadron and staking it and getting Icosa and staking that as well will outperform buying Hex and staking that Hex, which will be doubled on Pulse Chain, getting two stakes on two chains, plus the ability to mint Hadron for free. You guys think your opinion is that buying Hadron, buying Oncosa today has a higher chance of outperforming simply buying Hex, staking it, getting doubling on two chains, getting the Hadron on two chains, all
Well, you
that.
don't get much Hadron for free. I mean, you don't get a lot
Right?
of it.
You don't.
You
No, you
get
don't.
it's very small, but at the same time, if you're convicted in hex and you believe hex is going to go up, then it doesn't make sense to not grab Hedron because it's going to follow the same with
Yeah.
Icosa. So it's like I mean, it's not like I don't think anybody believes it's going to outperform, but if hex goes to $1, like I said, mathematically the ceiling price for Hedron is 0.0017. So if you just put a small amount of money in Hedron and it does hit that ceiling price, you can see the gains you can make from that. So I don't think it's necessarily going to outperform, but I mean, it's definitely a good purchase in my opinion.
It's
Right.
beautiful to understand about price and shit, but price never helps nothing because I always say this: price is irrelevant to crypto. You have to look at the ratios. So the ceiling, like the gentleman was saying, for the ratio of the ceiling is what's very intriguing for me because at the end of the day, it has a very good paired, high liquidity asset that's paired to Hex. If Hex goes up in price, well then Hedron technically should also follow suit. So Hedron should just go up regardless, even if Hex goes up, whether people trade it or not, just by heart
Right.
style.
Right.
But at the same time, too, you're also looking at the fact that it is undervalued. And the reason why it's undervalued is because of its utility, not only staking capability, but also the utility of leveraging the asset that you just said that why would you buy this asset when this asset is going to outperform it? So if the asset's going to outperform it, why would you sell the asset that's been outperforming all your other assets? That's the highest appreciating asset you have. It would be stupid to sell it unless your goal is to dump it if it's only short term. Because if it's a long term play, you would like to live off of your hex, but not just the interest. Why wouldn't you just compound the interest and capitalize off the leveraging that you have with Hedron? And also, people don't realize that Hedron mechanism within the stake allows you to actually use it as a collateral, a leveraging to leverage your collateral, right? Because you're always guaranteed Hedron dependent on how many B shares you have. And right now, if you're not an OG or if you're not a day one, you're actually front run by about 800 days of people getting free Hedron compared to yourself. So currently, if you go look at how much Hedron they would have received for spending that much economical power or having that much economical power, you should also look into it as what's your opportunity cost currently for it. Now, there's also the Icosa system, which allows you to capitalize and actually ladder out of Hex. So why would you do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 year stake when you can make a 5 and then utilize maximize it with Icosa and get out whenever the hell you want, go into any other asset dependent on what
Exactly.
you want.
Yep.
So you could ladder in and not ladder out like the way most Hexicans have been telling you to do. I think the whole game plan has changed if you're looking at Icosa and Hedron. But if you don't have free Hedron, then yes, I agree. You should get the free Hedron because it's irrelevant. If Hedron goes up, that means Hex goes up. But if you have Hex and you're saying, well, I'm never going to sell my Hex and I'm going to live off of it, well, why wouldn't you acquire an asset that not only with the buyback of the HSIs allows you to buy it at a premium, sorry, at a discount right now, but later on in life, as it gets rarer, as the capability of minting a Hedron is actually getting reduced, because let's be honest, at $100 Hex, people are going to be staking 0.1 Hex, and that brings you absolutely fuck all B shares. So you're not going to be getting any Hedron. So Hedron is going to be very, very scarce in minting capability. So that whole there's going to be so much to dump on the market is not available, because currently much more Hedron is being burnt as that there's the capability of us minting it. So it's being countered by I think a 10x. So there's 10 times more Hedron being burnt than there is off of what would have been minted. So now we're actually in a deflationary stage where you could use not only Hedron to buy back Hex shares at a cheaper price, but you're also acquiring an asset that not only you could leverage to the Icosa system, NFT system, you could also utilize it as a leveraging tool, right? Advancing your Hedron. So I don't know. Do you want me to
And Hex at
continue?
$100. Don't bring up the price again, but Hex at
Holy
$100 in
shit, man.
2030 is 60 cents, 60-cent Hedron, and this is based off the years, right? This is based off the T-shirt rate. But if Hex is $100 in 2030, Hedron should be around 60 cents, which is
And
fucking
Icosa gotta be like
nah.
10,000, man.
Oh, Icosa. I'm looking at the chart. Icosa, if Hedron's at 60 cents and Hex is at $100, then Icosa's at 54,500
Yeah,
for Icosa. So, and these are the ceiling prices, obviously,
yeah.
but you can see how the price appreciation can happen, relative to Hex.
But also you also gotta put yourself in the
And I have
mindset
that chart in my computer.
that all three assets do operate differently. So you just cannot equate, say for instance, okay, it's Hex is better than Hedron or Hedron's better than Icosa. No, they all have their own parameters or whatever, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you just cannot equate okay, if Hedron's doing better than Hex ain't shit. No, dude, it doesn't work that way with it. No, because really one doesn't work without the other. If you really
Yeah,
think about it,
and it's like a trifecta ecosystem. It's
it's a
genius.
triangle, dude. Straight up triangle. Yep.
But yeah, so to answer your question, personally, in my opinion, I think buying Hedron at market is a great fucking idea.
I
Especially
know I
right now.
did.
Right now it's on a disc. Right now you're on a discount. It's like pretty big dip. I think from ATH, or at least from the recent ATH. I'm looking at the chart right now. I think it's down about 66%. So 5 zeros and 5 zeros 2 2 is what it's at right now. So
And there
I
you
feel
go.
like not a bad deal. I mean,
So, if I can maybe attempt to summarize at least some of what I heard here, because you guys threw out a lot of good points. Because look, again, my thing is, I see the use case for Hadron absolutely, but my whole question is, okay, how do you best deploy capital, right? And so, because you can kind of get Hadron and Icosa for free for having hacks and staking hacks, there is that hesitation to instead of buying Hadron or Icosa at all, just go straight for the hacks. But I get your guys' point, and I think one good point that you guys brought up, one of the many, was the fact that if you are buying hex and if you are staking hex, at this point, you're really not getting a lot of Hadron, a lot of Icosa for those hex stakes that you make as of today, because of the OG stakes already out there. So I guess it kind of does make some sense to go out of your way and buy some off the market simply because what you're getting through staking now is really not a lot. So yeah, guys. Like again, personally, me, I'm still kind of debating this internally. Like just what makes most sense. What's the most optimal route? What's the most efficient way to deploy capital? But I really appreciate you guys' points of view, and I'm still kind of just trying to work this out myself
It,
as
You
well.
guys,
it really depends on what your plan is, right? Because if you're trying to capitalize off of your money, why would you downplay the one asset that's allowing everyone to flourish, right? It doesn't make sense if that's the store of value.
Well,
People are
just
building.
because you can get it for free, that's the only hesitation. Because you can get,
Exactly. But
yeah,
but
yeah,
but think about it like this. If you're not an older generation type, you have 2 years of, well, you didn't get it. You know what I mean?
or
So
even get the
yeah, that's
bonus
okay.
either.
And
Yeah.
right, yeah, right.
the more you purchase one asset, right? And I'm not saying you shouldn't do this. I'm just saying if your goal is to be in a position where you're able to utilize both systems, where you don't ever sell your hex, well, you need to front run the system in a way where later on you're just like, I can acquire all of that in which I could have done, which is a lot of hex, because the T-shares brings you hex. It brings you hex, right? So you could acquire T-shares with Hedron. You know what I mean? You got to give up hex to get T-shares. So it is, in a way, if this is going to, because it's also, forget about the price, because the price, you could think like, oh, I made money off the price, but when it comes to it, look at the ratio between Hedron and hex, and it's very undervalued. You
that is
only
true.
get 5.5 million Hedron per T-share, and right now a T-share is going for 100 million. It's about 20 times overvalued. So you're just off of the system balancing itself, because it works in coherence, is a guaranteed 20x. You can get 20 times more heck, and that front runs like what? Due to staking, it could front run maybe a whole cycle. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important to understand, what do you want to do. If you're looking at a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 15-year plan, if you're doing a 15-year plan, then yeah, acquire as many T-shares as possible. But then it always comes down to, if you could wait a bit, you could acquire more with Hedron.
If anybody's interested in those ceilings, there I put them in above. You can look up and click it if anybody wants to see them.
That's my opinion, because at the end of the day, if you're just looking at the price, well, then you already lost the idea of what it actually can do.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the ratio is beautiful, man. The ratio is what gives it its value.
Sure.
But if people are going to utilize its leveraging mechanism, plus there's gonna be people building on top of the NFTs. There's gonna be so many things. But at the end of the day, what do they need to continue? T-shirts,
Yeah. That share
right?
rate's
Or
gonna
else,
just gonna keep going
facts.
up, man. That share rate, Famous is saying,
It's guaranteed to go up.
up to the right.
Bro, go right now and look how much you get. How much shares, not T shares, B shares, or M shares. I know it's M shares, but look how many M shares you get for 0.1 hex. That's a $10 stake. You think and that's right now. Imagine when it gets to 100,000 hex per T share, which we're not far off, right? So when you think about it, you're like, okay, you're getting
Okay.
you're getting like 0 point something Hedron per day.
Yeah.
That's not productive when you could buy 100 million for $100.
Yeah.
Well, really, what's that? 2.5 years from now, man. I mean, shit, like you're saying, Famous. Yeah, the Hedron, you're not gonna get that much Hedron at all.
It's gonna be super. It's already rare. It's gonna just become more rare.
Yeah.